sports world, and welcome to the first of many seasons over video what if projections. Tonight we'll be doing a Super Bowl what if. I will be debating the prospects of the Denver Broncos making the Super Bowl, and my partner, Michael Lepoutre, will be debating the prospects of the Washington Redskins making it to the Super Bowl. Poop, want to start off?
Big offseason for the Redskins after their first year under the RG3 regime. Obviously, it was a great success with the exception of a fateful knee injury late in the playoffs. I cried for about 2 hours because I live with Giants fans and they love to rub it in. But then I reminded them that they didn't make the playoffs. So hey, you had the surgery. Apparently, the surgery went well. He's been doing the OTAs and mini camps as we speak. He's not been participating fully with the team, but he's been doing his drills on the side, and he should be able to bounce back. We'll see how he does with that. Other offseason storylines would be the signing of Dante Stallworth, the receiver who was injured in a hot air balloon crash not too long ago. Yes. But he's back, ready to ever. That's another person to throw to, which, as we know, RG3 was kind of lacking in that first year. But yeah, it's been exciting, and we'll see how he does.
So as far as the Broncos go, Peyton Manning obviously coming back from strong 2012 after that neck injury. He's 37 years old, but
he's up there. He's up there.
When he's been healthy, he's been Peyton Manning, so you can never count him out. As far as he goes, he's got a few more offensive weapons with Wes Walker coming to the team.
That's right.
So, Redskins made it to the playoffs last year, lost to the Seattle Seahawks.
First time since '07.
How do you think they make it back to the playoffs this year?
Same old song and dance, as they say. I think they got to pound the ball with Morris, and if RG3 isn't as healthy as he was last year, and he probably won't be as effective running the ball, as long as there's the threat that he's going to tuck it and go, I think they can be productive. I think that's the cornerstone for the Redskins offense. Now, my worry is that RG3 is going to want to be just as productive and just as dangerous as he was last year. When he really can't be, I think he's got to learn to just take those slides. Instead of reaching for that first down marker, maybe we slide, get another play, catch our breath, and we keep it moving. But Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, I think he'll do a little bit of different play calling just to protect him.
I think for the Broncos, it's going to be
same old song and dance, right?
Last season, 5th in pass offense. You add Wes Walker to the mix. You add in some, all the options they have on offense.
They got a new running back, Monty Ball, out of Wisconsin, but who was a Heisman Trophy candidate. Yeah. So
that's another dimension to that offense that's already pretty scary.
That's true.
So I think it's going to be a step back for Peyton. I don't think he's going to have, he's old, and that can only last so long. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be another one of those situations where, they see the Ravens, they see the Pats, they see the Texans in the regular season, and there's going to be those struggles against the better teams like Peyton Manning usually does in the offseason. Big storyline, though, for this matchup, Week 8, on October 27th, a few days before Halloween.
Mark your calendars.
Our teams, for today, Broncos, Redskins matchup. How do you see that playing out?
I think it's be a shootout. I think that the Redskins defense is very questionable at times. Sometimes they are superhuman and make these fantastic plays, and other times they just flat out don't show up. They got the most overrated corner in the league in D'Angelo Hall on one side of the field, and a bunch of rookies that they just drafted in the back, and I think Peyton Manning picks them apart. And then I think RG3 answers perhaps with a slower tempoed offense to try and keep Peyton off the field. And I see it being a shootout, maybe 35-38. Hopefully the Redskins, but I could see the Broncos winning it as well.
As far as the Super Bowl matchup goes, that's a different story. But Week 8, midseason, Peyton's got a way of deflating these games where it's these, young hotshots coming in.
True.
I don't think it's going to be a contest that mid-season game. I think it's going to be more of a, 28-14 Broncos type deal. We'll see. I mean,
that would hurt to watch. That's all I'm going to say.
It's going to be, RG3 versus that pass defense and the Broncos, and that's going to be tough. Last season, when Robert kind of wasn't figuring his thing out, they went to that rush game, which is great, but also has the best rush defense in the game. Probably going to be the Broncos this season. So it could be kind of hitting them on both cylinders. So I think it'll be a strong win for the Broncos. Prediction for the record.
I think worst case scenario, it's a weak NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're really only fighting with the Cowboys. The Giants, I think, have either stayed and plateaued where they are now, or perhaps even dipped a little bit. And the Eagles, there's just too many questions with new head coach. Is Mike Vick going to be the quarterback? Different style offense. Does the college game translate well to the pros? We'll see. So I think at worst, 9-7, they have tough out of conference games against the Broncos, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Also the Bears, Vikings, Packers, 49ers even, who were in the Super Bowl last year. So I think if we focus on the division as we did last year, we didn't do too well outside the division, but if we can win, 6 games, 5 games in the division, I think we'll be in playoff contention once again.
Mm-hmm. Well, as far as the Broncos go, I see them losing those big games like they usually do. Like, wouldn't be surprised if they lose to Houston, lose to Baltimore, lose to New England by a lot probably. But as far as that division goes, I'm excited to see the Chiefs. I'm excited to see Alex Smith and how he does in that new team, but
absolutely,
I don't see them losing to the Raiders.
Not a chance.
I don't see them losing to anybody else there. So, it's a team that can go 14 wins. It's a team that can go 10 wins. So I'll play it safe. I'll say 12-4.
Okay.
But no matter what that number is, good enough to get that bye in the first round, I'd say.
You think they're a 1 seed, or you think they're a 2?
I think it's going to be between 2 and 3 seed until the end, and then they get that 2 seed.
They get the 2? Alright.
NFC Championship game. Who was it?
Assuming we're one of the teams, I'm going to go with the Packers.
Packers?
I think...
and how do they beat the Packers?
They beat the Packers by the defense playing absolutely absurd out of their minds.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brian Arakpo is going to have a Defensive Player of the Year type season in terms of the pass rush, because we know that the secondary has holes.
Mm-hmm.
As I said before, D'Angelo Hall, clearly on the decline. And it's rookies, they first drafted D. Emerson out of Fresno State. He's a safety. He's got great speed, great coverage, but he struggles to tackle. And then we have to maintain the turnovers. We cannot let ourselves turn the ball over. It's on Robert, but it's also on Alfred. Mr. Morris himself trying to avoid a sophomore slump as a running back. What about the Broncos, though? AFC Championship game.
It's hard to see any AFC teams breaking through that haven't been breaking through the last few years or so.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to see the Patriots one way or another, whether it's in the AFC Championship game or somehow before then. The Ravens, Texans, they're in there. I like what you were saying earlier about the Bengals,
Hey, why not?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Denver has some scary moments on the way to a deep run. But, it's, if it's not New England in the championship game, it's, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Houston.
Yeah.
It comes back to that offense because that defense is going to hold their own. Yeah. It's one of those things where if they make the Super Bowl, nobody's going to be surprised. If they lose the first round to the Bengals, people won't be that shocked either.
No,
So.
I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Neither would you.
We're in the Super Bowl in New Jersey. Best case scenario for the Redskins.
Best case scenario, RG3 plays out of his mind. He steps up to the plate. He doesn't let the moment faze him, and he shines in the bright light. I remember that the bowl game against Oklahoma, he just absolutely took over. He was unstoppable, and I think he can do it again. I think maybe we need a touchdown here or there out of Morris, and perhaps a huge defensive stop late in the game to sort of seal it.
Mm-hmm.
But I see Robert Griffin just totally outshining Peyton Manning and sort of telling him, here you go, I'll dig your grave for you. You're done. Worst case scenario is we just come out flat. They absolutely shut down the running game, and then we can't play action pass. I think again, the defense is not going to win us games. The defense can only lose us games.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do their job and they get those key stops, and we just can't score, we're kicking field goals, and we're not putting 7 on the board. I think that's the worst case scenario. The Broncos, they can put up points.
Yeah. And that's going to be the best case scenario for them. It's going to be legacy defining games. It's going to be a game where Peyton Manning either solidifies his legacy as one of the best of all time, or solidifies there's a lot of question marks. But it's also a team that could really just kind of roll through things, What did it take to beat them in the playoffs last year? A
fluke.
Absurd plays,
Yeah.
a few mental hiccups on defense. If a few things go their way, it could be an easy route. It's going to be on that defense, and because that defense is going to be strong all year, and then, like you said, the bright lights, we'll see if they can keep it together.
That's right.
All right, prediction time.
The bright lights, RG3 to Pierre Garçon for a quick 7 to start off the game. I think Redskins are up 14-13 and a half, right? Broncos come out firing in the third quarter. 2 quick scores. They're up by, let's say, 10. Redskins get a field goal or whatever. But I think late in the fourth quarter, I think RG3 leads the team for a quick drive to start the fourth. Peyton tries to play the clock game, trying to drain it, and then that 2-minute drill, what it always seems to come down to for the past few years is that 2-minute drill, and I think RG3 leads them on a 65-yard drive for an Alfred Morris hammer at home for a touchdown. And the Redskins come out on top. Probably 34-31.
34-31. All right, here's what I see you playing out. More likely than that midseason game, it'll be a shootout in the fourth quarter. But I see it as, Washington never really getting within more of a touchdown after that. And my prediction is Denver 28-24. It'll be closer than the regular season, especially for the Redskins' sake. They're going to play a lot better, and, Broncos will be tired. So, it'll be close. Maybe a shootout, maybe a boring game, but I think Denver wins it in a close one.
I agree with you on the closeness. I think both coaches, both having been to Super Bowls, and they know what they're doing. They'll have their guys ready, and I think both teams definitely will show up, and it'll be another great Super Bowl.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. This has been a Season's Over What If multimedia video.
HTTR.
Until the season's over, we'll see you next time.
RG3.